Hello everybody, the channel is Ketogenic Bodybuilding. I'm Rob Goodwin, and this is our very first Q&A segment that I plan to do weekly, answering all of your questions about hard training, ketogenic, primal, low carb, paleo nutrition, and how that correlates with hard training, supplementation, recovery, all the things that go hand in hand in a well-structured program and a well-structured dietary protocol. So shoot me those questions. I've already gathered up over 50 fantastic questions in our Ketogenic Bodybuilding Facebook group. You can also send me those via the Ketogenic Bodybuilding Twitter feed. All links are in the notes section. You can even go to the website, kgbodybuilding.com, and there's a little link at the top that says Ask Rob. You can click that, ask whatever questions you like, and I'm compiling them all on this huge list, and I hope to literally cover every single one week after week on the Q&A segment of the Ketogenic Bodybuilding channel. If you like what we're doing, please take just a quick second and hit the subscribe button. It really helps a lot to help us further our message. Hit the little notification bell so you're always notified when new videos are posted. So without further ado, I want to get right to it, and I've got some notes up on my screen here. Very first question comes from Melissa. It says, I'm not interested in bodybuilding or bodybuilding shows. Can I still follow your program? Absolutely, positively, without a doubt, yes. And actually, it's a great question because it's really become part of who I am as a coach, as a trainer, and it's really the core element of the ketogenic bodybuilding plan. And it's our whole ideology is if you want to know how to put on lean muscle, if you want to know how to get lean, ask a bodybuilder. No other people on earth have, put that into motion and researched it and lived it and understand it better than the physique competitor. However, you do not have to be a bodybuilder to follow the program. I would say 99% of my clientele will never step on a competition stage. So when people always ask me, is just for bodybuilders? I say the question really should be, is this just for competitive bodybuilders? Because the way I view it, and I truly believe this, if you have a goal of reaching your genetic best, the best that you can possibly be by adding some lean muscle tissue, by burning some excess body fat off of your body, just really revealing the person that you want to be, that image that you have in your head, that desire that you have to reach that genetic best, then you're building your body. If you lift some weights or push some machines or even do body weight exercises or TRX straps, whatever you do, your goal is to build some lean, metabolically active muscle tissue. And then the goal is to then peel off any unwanted body fat to reveal that gorgeous, badass physique that you're trying to build and, really aspire to, I guess is the terminology I'm looking for. So in the way I have always viewed this, even though the overwhelming majority of the people that I coach and train will never step on stage, that's fine. Because bodybuilding to me is anyone who is looking to build their very best physique, their very best body by training, implementing training, nutrition, recovery elements, supplementation. So believe it or not, you're a bodybuilder. Whether you're 17 or 70, you're a bodybuilder. If the goal is to build even 1 ounce of lean muscle tissue, which the goal should be to try to put on as much as you possibly can of lean, metabolically active, hard, dense, beautiful, gorgeous muscle, then you too are a bodybuilder. So whether you know it or not, congratulations and welcome to the club. You're a bodybuilder. So you got to get the stereotype out of your head of what some people view a bodybuilder at, like the gigantic, super freak pro bodybuilders that you see on the cover of some magazines. That's not bodybuilding. That is a segment of professional, competitive bodybuilding. But that doesn't define the overwhelming majority of people who are trying to build their best body that they possibly can. So again, welcome to the club. You're a bodybuilder in my eyes. I train 35 people here in the gym. I've got over 50 that I train online, and I view all of them as bodybuilders, and they come from all genders, shapes, sizes, background, levels of training, ages, you name it, they're all over the map. And of those nearly 100 people that I coach and train and the thousands that I've trained over the last 25 years, 1% actually compete. So it's not about competitive bodybuilder, it's about anybody who's trying to be their best. And back to my original statement, if you want to know how to get lean, if you want to know how to put on muscle, ask a bodybuilder or ask someone who has coached them or who has competed and is now a trainer or coach. They're going to know the most direct and quick path, if they're good, if they know what they're doing, to getting you to that best possible physique, the physique that you have in your mind, the image that you have in your brain of you at your very, very best. So guess what? You're a bodybuilder. And yes, the programming that I do is for everyone. I have clients literally in their 70s who approach this the same way as someone who I may have in their 20s or 30s whose goal is to step on stage. We just, we implement the same philosophy, the same ideology, and the same program, but we just structure it to the goals of the individual. How extreme do you want that physique? How much muscle do you want to put on? How lean do you want to get? What's the overriding goal? So we take that into consideration, and then I put together a program that's going to get them to their best genetic potential in the shortest time possible. So do you have to have aspirations to being a competitive bodybuilder or physique competitor to follow my program? Absolutely not. Remember, most are not. But I truly believe that the approach that you would take towards someone who wants to compete is still the best approach to everyone, regardless of what your ultimate goal is. So if your goal is to be and live and aspire to be your absolute genetic best, yes, this will work. Yes, you belong. We're all in the same club. So again, welcome. So I hope that kind of clears that up. I could have just said yes, but I did want to really expand on that because most people still get that negative connotation of that super extreme segment of the bodybuilding community. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about truly achieving your genetic best. I'm 51 years old, and I still strive to be my absolute best every single day in the gym, regardless of what I'm eating. And it's not just in the gym. That's the cool thing about bodybuilding, the lifestyle of a bodybuilder. It's not just something you do at practice and then on game day, right? It's something that you literally do every single minute of the day. It consumes who you are and becomes a part of your lifestyle, and you become obsessed and so proud of that because everything that you do lends to you becoming the genetic best that you can possibly aspire to be. I often tell my clients who come to me maybe 2 or 3 times a week in the gym, they come to me for 30-minute sessions. There's 168 hours in a week. I see my clients for roughly 1 to 1.5 hours of that 168. So even though that when they're in the gym, they have my direction and my push and my accountability, the other 166, 167 hours in the week, they're left to their own devices. So becoming your absolute best just isn't the time in the gym. It's not just when you're consuming that one meal. It's everything that you do. It's what you eat, what you don't eat. It's how well you treat yourself and what you avoid to abuse yourself. It's how hard you train. It's the cardiovascular activity. It's the recovery. It's the sleep. It's the reduction of stress. It's not consuming too much alcohol. It's staying away from recreational drugs. It's staying away from too much bad food, sugar, and so forth. It's everything. It's such a synergistic thing that we do, and it entails your deep focus and concentration and dedication every day. Not to say that you won't fail and fall off the wagon. We all do, including me, every single day. But the ability to stand back up, dust yourself off, and jump back in, well, that's the real key, and that's what you need to focus on. So, do you have to be a bodybuilder? Hell no. But are you a bodybuilder? As far as I'm concerned, you are, and welcome. So, hope that clears that up. I want to cover one more quick question. Carol wants to know what's the best training regimen for body recomposition and the best training regimen for building muscle on a caloric deficit. This is a misconception in training and nutrition that often crosses my path on a daily basis. If you haven't downloaded my free document, the Ketogenic Bodybuilding Rules of Engagement, we call it quickly the KGBROE, It's available for free download at ketogenic or at kgbodybuilding.com. So download that. And one of my rules of engagement is, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, you're either building or in a gain phase, trying to build as much muscle as you can, or you're in a cutting phase and trying to shed body fat. You really need to determine what your goal is and then act accordingly. Meaning, it's very, very difficult to add muscle in a caloric deficit. To be in a cutting phase, you need to be in a caloric deficit. Now, even though there's a lot more that goes along with that, one of the direct, commandments of cutting is you got to reduce your calories into a small or even steep deficit depending on the goal. If you're trying to put on or maximize as much lean muscle tissue as possible, you have to be in a caloric surplus. You have to be in a caloric range above your maintenance level. So that needs to be determined as well. So when I'm trying to put on or maintain as much muscularity as humanly possible, and in my case, at this moment in my life, it's to compete, well, then I know that I have to be in a caloric surplus. Now, will I put on a little bit of body fat during that phase while I'm in that surplus? Yeah, I probably will. I'm not going to stay stage weight, 5% body fat year round. I know that putting on a little bit extra body fat during that gain phase is just part of the process, and I'm fine with that. That doesn't mean you have to dirty bulk and get absolutely sloppy fat. That just means that you're going to put on a little bit of fat to go with the addition of that lean muscle tissue. So you have to understand that's part of the process. But you can still look phenomenal in the off season, but you're not going to be sub 10% body fat and shredded. Now, when you want to conversely get to the point where you're peeling the body fat off to reveal all of the hard work that you engaged in during that gain phase, that's when we go to the caloric deficit and you peel it off. Now, yes, it is possible to simultaneously change your body composition simultaneously and add some muscle while you're peeling off body fat. Absolutely. I see this happen literally every day with clients, but it's generally newer clients. People who aren't as well trained, who aren't in a more advanced state of training or who haven't been training for a long time. At first, the body is going to very quickly overcompensate and put on lean muscle tissue as a defense mechanism in a response to the stress that you put on it while you're stimulating that growth in the gym by tearing muscle down under the load of the weight that you're pushing or pulling or squatting or whatever. So, but that will slow down pretty quickly in due time as the body keeps trying to fight for balance. And during that time, sure, because of that new activity, that new stimulus, that new stress, that new level of output, you're going to burn some additional body fat too. But once again, over a fairly short period of time, and it could just be a couple of months, that's going to stall and level out. So at that point, I will say definitely take advantage of that body recomposition where you're putting on some lean mass and taking off some body fat in those early stages. But once the body, starts pushing and striving for balance again, it's going to taper off quickly. And you definitely won't put on as much in a, if you're trying to do both as you would if you're in a true gain phase surplus, or vice versa. You won't pull off as much body fat unless you're in a true deficit in a cutting phase. So choose which place you are in your goals, where you are throughout your year, your periodization, and choose accordingly. You're either gaining or you're cutting. So determine which and act accordingly. So that's all for today. 2 questions. We're going to answer maybe 2 or 3 more later in the week. So submit those questions to me. Let me know if you need anything. I hope you're enjoying what we're doing. Again, please subscribe and tell a friend. And until next time, thank you for being here. And I truly, deeply appreciate your support in helping us further this mission. Peace.